Alrighty, so this video is going to be the first of many going over Lishis and how to use Lishis to make car keys. So this is on a Nissan Versa. Don't know the year off the top of my head, but it doesn't really matter because pretty much all Nissans use the same key blade, which is the NSN14. So first off, we're going to go on and lube the lock, and I personally use Houdini. I highly recommend this because it does both clean and lubricate the lock and absolutely no gunking of the lock. So yeah, first off, we're going to go on and lubricate it. You should be doing this for any lock you're picking. Got a nice amount of lube up in there. Gonna go on and take a fresh uncut key, work that in and out, make sure that lube gets in all the wafers. Let's see, and doesn't look like any gunk came out with it, so that means this lock is in pretty decent shape to start off. Looks like a little bit of gunk is coming out around the keyway, but nothing on the actual key. But either way, that should be good and lubed now. So the big trick with Lishiing is you always want to make sure you only pick locks or pick wafers that have no spring whatsoever on them. So first off, before we even put tension on it, we're going to check where these wafers are. So let's see, make sure it's all the way in, because as you just saw right there, it was a partial distance, but so we have a, looks like, yeah, it looks like we got evens on the bottom and odds on the top. So I personally prefer a nice bit of light tension, but still making sure you have tension. And I do all the bottoms and all the tops. So first off, we have pin 4 springy, so leaving it alone. We're on 6, that's springy, so leaving it alone. 8 is springy, leaving it alone. 10 is springy, leaving it alone. Going back up to the tops now. So 9 springy, leaving it. 7 springy, leaving it. 5 springy, leaving it. And go figure, the binding is the very last one that I tried, so we're gonna pick 3. Got a little bit of a false set, and notice now we got some spring on 3. So now we're gonna go through the bottoms again. Okay, 4 is binding now, so we're gonna go on and pick 4. Got a little bit more of a false set, and 4 is picked and springy now. Gonna go to 6. 6 has a little bit of spring, but it also feels like it might be binding, so that might be one to pick, but I don't want to overpick it, so I'm going to take my chances and go to the next one. Okay, yeah, 8 is binding harder than 6 was, so it was definitely a good call to wait on 6. Okay, 8 is now springy and picked. 10 still springy, leaving it alone. 9 has a little bit of a spring, so I'm going to leave it. Okay, 7's binding really hard, so picking. Alright, 7 is nice and set now. 5 is springy, leaving it. 3 is binding pretty hard, so I'm going to go on and pick that. Okay, and you heard some clicks there, which means probably some of the pins that I've already picked have reset. Yep, and 4 was one of the first ones that we already did, and that is binding again, so I'm going to go on and repick 4. Alright, and the same thing, going to 6. 6 is still a little springy, so leaving it. 8 is binding, so picking it. Now it's springy, move it to the next. 10 is springy. 9 is binding. Yeah, no, that's pure bind, so gonna want to pick that. 7 is binding again, so gonna go on and pick that. And I heard some clicks again, which means that most likely I'm gonna have to do a different binding order. Yeah, all those are still springy. Okay, so 4 stayed set and didn't reset like it did last time. So 6 is binding, picking that. Nice and springy now, but no extra clicks, which means that most likely none of the other pins reset. Gonna go on and move on. Still got a little bit of spring on 9, so leaving it. Okay, nice set on 7. 5 is completely springy. 3 is springy. Alright, going back to the loop. Okay, so 4 reset again. Okay, 4 set again. Let's see. 6 is still springy. 8 still springy. 10 still springy. Looks like 9's binding again. And we're picked. So now, let's see. I'm going to try to get this angle. So this is now a picked open Lishi. So I'm going to try to get this angle. Okay, so now we're going to take this and turn this into a key. So for this, I recommend having your phone or a notepad or something handy to write down these numbers, because you don't want to try to put it directly into the key app or your machine, just because if you get something wrong, it's a lot easier to catch up on it later if you have like a reference with your phone. So now that I've got my phone out, let's see. So 3 is a 1. 4 is a 3. And notice whenever I'm reading these numbers, I am getting it to where it springs, and where it stops on the spring is where we're reading. So 5 is a 4. 6 is a 2. See, is this even focused? Kinda. There's a little bit of a glare. 6 is a 2. 7 is also a 2. 8 is a 3. 9 is a 2. And 10 is a 4. So now I'm going to cut, and we're going to switch over to how to cut a key with those numbers and what to do with the missing cuts. Alrighty, so now that we have the cuts, we are going to go on and cut the key, and I'm going to show this on both the Condor XC Mini and how you would do this on a Dolphin. I am currently using the XC Mini, so I do not have a Dolphin to show, as I no longer have that cutter, but for the people who are still using a Dolphin, this will still help. So first off, for the Dolphin side, you're going to go to Vehicle Database. This is a Versa, so we're going to type VERS. Nissan Versa, there we are. Oh, no paired blank information. Okay, well, in that case, we are going to cut by bitting. And then we know this is the NIO4 blade. So NIO4, NIO4 10 bitting. Okay, and then, let's see, so the numbers that we had, I'm not going to show that because that's got text information. So we had 134222324. 134222324. Okay, so now we have those entered. Notice we still have 2 question marks at the beginning because we do not know those. So on the Dolphin side of this, you would hit Find Bidding. Now it will not work for mine. Oh, actually, hold on. Yeah, function belongs to a Dolphin device, so yeah, it won't let me actually run this on the X-Horse app because I'm not actually connected to a cutter, so I'm just going to go ahead and move this over here. But more or less what I just did here will work for the Dolphin, and it'll give you the fill progression. You'll see the same thing that you're going to see on the XC Mini, just on your phone screen. So now we're going to go back, and now we're going to do this on the XC Mini. So we're going to do cut by bidding. Oh, actually, no, sorry, find bidding. Ignore me. So find bidding. And this is a Nissan, and it's going by Keyblade, so NI04. Confirm. Alrighty, and we don't have the first 2 bits, so gonna go on and move over, and this is 134, 134, 22, 324. Alrighty, so now we are looking for those first 2 biddings. So we're going to do find bidding code. And now we have 4 different possibilities. So I actually have the original key for that vehicle. So we are looking for these 2 biddings over here. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we know that this is probably going to be 2-1 for the first 2. And go figure, we have a 2-1 right here. So if you were doing this cut on the field, you would potentially have to cut all 4 of these options until you get the correct one. And for that reason, I always keep a ton of plain metal keyblades on hand, just so that way I can cut a test key without having to actually do this. So now I'm going to go on and let this cut, and I'm actually going to mute because I think I have a customer calling while this records. And there she is. So now we are going to compare the key that I just cut to the original. Now obviously most jobs that you're going to come across are going to be lost keys, not duplicating. Now technically I could have just duplicated this, but let's see, comparing the bittings, those look pretty much identical. I don't see any variation between the two that is noteworthy. So I'm going to go on and take these out to the car and give it a test. Alrighty, so we are back at the car. Key is cut. I am not actually going to program this key because this video is assuming if you're at this point that you probably don't need to see how to program a car key. It's assumed that you would already be able to do that at this point. So, new key, and it turns like butter. Now, the only thing with that is we did pick the lock, and there was missing wafers, and we did do fine bitting, so we are going to double check that it also works on the ignition, because the ignition has those missing wafers. And same thing, it turns like butter. This key is good to go. Lishi method success.